What's going on, guys? MariK here, back with our weekly Dragon Ball Super update. Today we have the reveals for the black cards for Set 5, and unlike Set 4, this is less of an archetype than it is more about just general support for any and every deck available. Let's go ahead and check it out so you can see what I'm talking about. Up first, we have our black leader revealed. It's Black Masked Saiyan. I know a lot of people are excited about this, having the masked Vegeta from the Xeno series. He's got Burst 3 for his auto, so you place the top 3 cards of your deck in the drop area, and then you get to draw 1 card, and when you're at 4 or less life, switch to your energy to active, and flip this card over into Power Thirst Black Masked Saiyan. So I thought it was kind of odd that he actually stays as Black Masked Saiyan when he awakens, unlike the Bardock that switches to Xeno Bardock on the Awakened side. I don't know if there's any reason for that. I'm not familiar with the whole Xeno Dragon Ball Xenoverse Heroes, whatever it came from. But he's got Burst 3 once per turn. You can place 3 cards on top of your deck in the drop area. Choose 1 black battle card with an energy cost of 3 or more in your drop area and add it to your hand. And then this card gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So you can actually get back cards from your drop area to reuse again, but it has to have an energy cost of 3 or more, so you can't get cards like your super combos, you can't get your 1 and 2 drops, whether they be searchers or they be the stupid 1-drop crit guys. You can't get any of that stuff, but you can still get your cards back from the drop area, which is pretty cool, especially considering that Burst 3 gives you 3 more cards in your drop area, so you have a little bit more of a card pool to choose from. The first card in the set is Adventurous Son Goku. He's a 2-cost, 10,000 power. His auto says, when this card attacks, choose up to 1 Dragon Ball card from your deck and place it in your drop area, then shuffle your deck. If you place a Dragon Ball card in your drop area, this card gains plus 10,000 power and double strike for the duration of the turn. That's actually not too bad. 20,000 double strike, and he lets you pull out a Dragon Ball. However, most people are trying to stray away from double strike as much as possible and just go for crit because they don't want to give their opponents cards even though they are doing life damage to them. Hence, you see a lot less 1-drop Kaba, and everyone is running the 1-drop Trunks, even if they don't run Chain Attack. So, but this is a really cool card, and I like that we have more support to pull the Dragon Balls out of the deck to be able to activate those Wish Leaders a little bit sooner than later. Then up next we have Dragon Ball Seeker Bulma. She's the 1-drop that we showed you guys during the original spoiler reveal. Once per turn, choose a Dragon Ball from your deck and place it in your drop area, then shuffle your deck. I don't like that you place them in the drop area and you don't get the draw effect that the Dragon Ball itself gives you, but I understand that it's because if you draw into the Dragon Ball, it's a useless card otherwise, so it's just to get it in the drop area and, allow you to replace itself. Up next we have Kami, Global Unifier. He's a 1-cost, 3,000 power, and he's been given the same treatment as Kronoa, our Silver Bullet for Shugesh. This is the card that a lot of people were worried about when the effect was spoiled, about blowing up all your opponent's cards, ignoring barrier, and just like with Kronoa, they gave him Deflect, and when you play him, you draw a card, so he replaces himself, and then for just 2 energy, if your opponent has 4 or more battle cards in play, you can choose all of them to blow them all up, ignoring barrier. So the only way anything is living that ability is if they happen to have Indestructible. So nobody plays Indestructible cards, so everything's gonna die. Oh, it has barrier? Well, Kami doesn't care. Why Kami is the end-all be-all that's gonna wipe your opponent's board, I have not a clue. But you're starting to see what I meant, where all the black cards in Set 5 are more all-around good support for all the other decks, whereas in Set 4 it was it was an archetype. You could build decks around them. All this stuff is more, you're going to put all of this in your existing decks to deal with problematic cards. Then we have Dende, new to the job. He got similar treatment to Kami to go along with Time Control Kronoa. He's a 1-cost 3,000 power, also with Deflect. You also draw a card when you play him. And for 2 energy, his activate main says, place this card in your drop area. If your opponent placed the card in their energy using a skill during this game, choose one of your opponent's energy and place it in its owner's drop area. So, kind of a stupid attempt to hit Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but this also hits every other deck that would play energy ramp. So whether you're playing like the Goku Black leader, whether you're playing Objection, or the Whis that plays energy, it's just this card right here, or even the Vegeta leader, the new Vegeta leader, and the Goku leader. It's just these cards like this I feel like are not needed. Like, sure, the Kami one is okay because he's a generic, universal, mass destruction card that any player can play in their deck, and, you know, for 2 energy, I mean, it's easy to avoid that when you just don't play more than 4 battle cards. That's not a big deal. For this, though, I feel like this kills the entire strategy of energy ramp more so than it does hitting Super Saiyan 3, which I'm sure was the intended goal to slow the game down. Sure, it can also hit the new Ultimate Box Vegeta leader, but he's not all about getting up into energy. And when you combine cards like this with the Mass Saiyan from the Ultimate Box, when you combine it with the Piccolo from World Tournament, the game now goes from aggro to aggro plus your energy destruction, and that's the wrong way to take this game. That's definitely the wrong way to try and counter 1 or 2 problematic cards, when the whole point of the card seems to be to completely shut down those 2 leaders, and instead it's destroying an entire deck strategy altogether. Here we have Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan. It's a 1-drop, 5,000 power, with the auto that says, when you attack with this card, you may add 1 card from your life to your hand. If you do, this card gains 10,000 power for the duration of the turn. So, it doesn't gain critical. They learned from that mistake with the blue Pan and with this this black Vegeta here. Mass Saiyan. Black Mass Saiyan. Sorry. But still, it's still easy self-awakening. It's still promoting doing as much damage to yourself as you can to awaken, instead of actually rewarding you for managing your life responsibly and playing to actually avoid taking that damage. His other auto says, when your opponent plays a battle card with 15,000 power or less using non-keyword skill, your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand and places them in the drop area. So that's not a bad ability. You have to keep him on the board, and I think as long as you don't attack with him, you very well could. He could be a really good side deck card, or he could just be a good main deck card because of what he does. However, again, because he doesn't have critical or anything, I can see that a lot of people aren't going to want to put their focus on him versus putting their focus on Trunks or Gohan. But he'd be a pretty good card nonetheless. Honestly, I got so little sleep last night after after our streaming session that I cannot think of which cards bring out other battle cards without it being a keyword skill. So if you guys want to help me out with that in the comments, feel free to put some of them down that you can think of, because I would like a better idea of whether or not this Black Mass Saiyan is another mistake card that we really just didn't need. I also forgot to point out the fact that this is card number 112 in this set, where the previous one was 109, so there's probably going to be a Vegeta Unmasked card as one of the super rares, as well as another card, possibly a Super Saiyan Xeno Goku or something like that, because, you know, they just can't not give Goku as much attention as possible. Speaking of Goku, we had Deadly Defender Son Goku. He's a 3-cost, 20,000 power. There's that power creep coming again. He's got Barrier, and his permanent says during your opponent's turn, if your leader card is black and this card is in rest mode, your opponent's cards can't attack leader cards, and this card gains minus 5,000 power. So he's kind of similar to the Ultimate Box Vegito, except he gets weaker. So he's that Vegito, but instead of for a blue leader, it's for a black leader. He permanently has barrier, where Vegito does not, unless he's in rest mode. But this card loses 5,000 power, so you can play him a turn earlier than that Vegito as well. I don't know. To me, it does the same thing, but it's a little bit weaker, which means it's going to be easier to get over, which is a good thing. It's definitely a good thing, because that Vegito is just, it's too dumb. I actually had to play against a blue-green Super Saiyan 3 deck that ran this, and it's a good card. But I think the fact that it loses 5,000 power for your opponent's turn is a good thing, and I think stuff like this is things we need to see. If you want the card to be strong on your turn, or on our turn, great. But if you want to make it this strong on our turn, you need more implications like this that make it a little bit weaker on our opponent's turn. And I think that is the correct way to take certain cards like this in the future sets for the game. Up next, we have our first new super combo, and I'm happy about this one for a lot of reasons. The first one being that it is Temporal Rescue Trunks. I love having more Trunks cards, even though it is Trunks Xeno, but still one of my top 5 favorite characters, and I'm glad to see him get more support. Now, this one's a little bit different because not only is he still a 2 cost, but not only does he only have 10,000 power instead of 12,000 like most super combos, he still has the 0 combo cost, but he automatically has the plus 10,000. So you can play him as a free combo card, and he's going to be 10,000 no matter what. That is a significant difference because you can play it at any time to get over certain things just whenever you need it. Also, his requirement is a bit different than the others. It's not revolving around life. It's not revolving around your warp like the Supreme Kai of Time super combo. This one's auto requires you to have 5 or more cards in your drop area when you combo with it. And then if your leader is black, you draw a card. So this will go along great for non-overwhelm heavy black decks. And I think this super combo right here solidifies my opinion before, where I was saying that sparking is not completely separate from Overwhelm, but is a opposite strategy from Overwhelm. Because yes, you can still Overwhelm, but now if you're going to run this super combo, you're going to want to not Overwhelm as much. And if you're playing a deck that runs the sparking effects anyways, you're going to not want to Overwhelm as much because you're going to want your cards in your drop area for those abilities. I think it's just an interesting new way to play the game, and I really like it. This super combo is really cool, and I'm actually excited to see what the other super combos for the other colors do. Black also has a lot of extra cards this time around. The first one being Power Burst. It's a 1-cost counterattack. If your leader card is black, negate the attack, then choose up to 1 black battle card from your drop area or warp area with an energy cost of 1 and add it to your hand. So you can get back that Mass Saiyan Self-Awakening guy, you can get back your Dende, you can get back your Kami if you want to blow stuff up. Like, it's kind of cool. I'll have to actually think. I mean, there's the 1-drop Toei, but I'm not 100% sure that I can think of a lot of good 1-drop black cards off the top of my head that we currently have. He also has Sparking 5, which says you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by adding a card from your life to your hand instead of paying its energy cost. So it's another counter card that you can play for free by adding a card to your hand. So you actually get to draw a card to play this card, essentially replacing itself. And this one isn't leader specific like Sacrifice and Instant Transmission. Then we have Dragon Radar. It's another 1-drop extra card. Activate main says choose one. Look at up to the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose up to a total of 2 Dragon Ball or Desire cards and add them to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Or choose up to a total of 2 Dragon Ball or Desire cards from your drop area and add them to your hand. So it lets you search out more Dragon Balls from your deck. It's deck thinning, but it adds them to your hand so you can then play them and draw. So if you did 2 Dragon Balls, you're actually going to +1 and potentially get 2 better cards that you could play while still fueling the wish requirement for your leader and getting those Dragon Ball effects. You can also get them from your drop area, which is really cool because if you used a sparking ability or something like that to put them in the drop area, or you already played them, that's another great way to reuse them. There's 7 Dragon Balls, so it's going to be a lot easier to see them more often. Now, the Desire cards we haven't seen a whole lot of yet, so whether or not you'll want to choose 2 of those is going to depend heavily on your situation, but we do have a couple Desire cards in this color at least that we can go ahead and check out too. And of course, you guys know about the Dragon Ball. It's a 0 cost. You can have 7 in your deck total, and if your leader is a Shenron, you get to draw a card. Then we have even more Dragon Ball themed support in A Child's Wish. It's a 2 cost extra card with the permanent that says this card gains Desire in all areas. So deck, hand, life, drop, warp, anything. Activate main says your leader card is a Shenron card. Choose 1 battle card in your drop area with 15,000 or less power and an energy cost of 3 or less and play it. There are quite a few cards that I would love to use this with. I would love to use this in my my Goku Black deck, not gonna lie, to token spam with the Nightmare Scythe Goku Blacks, but yeah, unless I want to run a Shenron leader, it's not happening. This card in particular is nice because you can bring out more cards from the drop area, but I feel like there are a lot of cards that really we don't need to be played over and over again. I'm concerned we're going to see a lot of the crit guys come back with this card. It's just, oh, well, I can just, activate this and get back one of my 1-drop life-harming crit guys. And, or even with him being a 3-drop, there's a lot of other options they could bring back, too. One of them being the Xeno Goku that serves as a Vegito for the black deck. That could be a card, and you just keep bringing those things back for 1 energy less. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Luckily, it does require a Shenron leader, though, so that is the best thing about this card. Then we have World Peace. This is the last black card in set 5, excluding super rares, of course. It's a 4 cost. With the permanent that also allows it to gain desires in all areas. Its activate main says if your leader card is a Shenron card, choose 1 battle card in your drop area with an energy cost less than or equal to your current energy and play it. So this could allow you to play, cards with 4, 5, 6 energy for less energy than you normally would. However, it already is a 4 cost. So, unless you wanted to get something specifically from your drop area, I don't see why you would use it on a 4-cost card. Also, because it's determined by how much energy you have, this card is kind of useless outside of late game. So, unless you think you're getting to turn 5 or turn 6, this card is this is a worse Desire card in my personal opinion. It does have potential, but unless the game actually slows down like Bandai said it was going to, then it's not going to be very good. And of course, we've seen how a lot of the community tries to speed the game up and make it as fast as possible. So even getting to 4 energy in a lot of games is just not likely. So we'll just have to wait and see what else Bandai has in store for us. I do like the card because it is part of the Wish, Desire, Shenron archetype, and it is really cool. I'm just kind of worried about how much playability it has. Also, last second update, because I am stupid, we have completely forgotten about the Shenron leader. The actual Shenron leader. His Awakened ability lets you play a Desire card from your hand for free, as long as it matches the energy cost equal to the amount of energy you have. You can activate its ability. We kind of forgot about that. So this card might actually be a lot better than we thought. As an added bonus, we also have the secret rare from the World Martial Arts Tournament, it being one card. I was not feeling like it was worth doing a video for one card, so we just tacked it on here. It's Son Goku and Oob, Seeds of the Future. We knew it was going to be something with Goku. I am pretty disappointed it's Goku and Oob, for various reasons we don't have time to get into. But it's an 8-cost, 40,000 power. It has Double Strike, Dual Attack, and of course Ultimate, which says you can only have one copy in your deck. If your leader card is a world tournament, and if there are 6 cards or more in both your energy area and your opponent's energy area, decrease this card's energy cost in your hand by 2. But that's going to require you both to get to 6 energy, which again, with the current state of the game, is not going to happen unless the game significantly slows down. Although there have been games where I have gotten to that amount of energy, even against Storm decks. Androids has been really good against not getting killed in 2 turns. And when this card attacks, you choose up to 1 card each from your opponent's life and energy and place them at the bottom of the owner's deck. So he's kind of got a 10-drop Zamasu effect going on here. What really sucks is not only does he do that, but he also has dual attack. So the double strike doesn't really matter, since you're literally picking off 2 life already with or without that double strike. That's what sucks. And even if they negate the attack or they block it, you're still losing that life no matter what. It's definitely a cool card for sure. Do I think it'll see a whole lot of play? Probably not as much as the Victory Strike Goku, but probably more than the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and the Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, unfortunately. We'll just have to see how many people actually try and play and maintain a World Martial Arts Tournament deck in the current meta. Lastly, we're going to leave you with just one more surprise. It's the reveal for the Event Pack 2. And the cards selected for it, I would say they're not as interesting as the first event pack. However, there are some really good ones from left to right. We have Last One Standing Son Goku. He's seen a bit of play with Universe decks, but not anything too spectacular. Preface of Recovery Son Goku. Definitely a much better card in my opinion. But again, it just hasn't seen a whole lot of play with the current storm, or what the hell ever, has been sweeping through competitive events. We've got Desperate Odds Kefla, which is not the good Kefla. So I don't know how many people actually run that, especially right now with, again, the current state of the game. Unless you're running a Universe 6 theme deck, it's just not worth it. Desperate Onslaught Bardock, on the other hand, I think is really great. And I actually think he looks fantastic with the Shenron in the back. I actually also like the green Shenron in the background versus the bland shiny gold that the first event pack had. I think this is a much better design, and that Bardock is a really good overwhelm card in my opinion, and I would actually like to scoop up 4 of those. On the bottom, we've got Scrambling Assault Son Goten. I can see this card reaching a ridiculous amount of money just because, one, this Goten's already kind of busted as is, but now he goes from being a promo to a even better looking, shinier promo. And so he's gonna be up there probably along with the price of 1-drop Bardock, if not even more than that, which is, it's a scary thought, but it might make the other one go down in price. So if you can't afford Goten, so you don't have them, this would make it easier for you to do so. And then we have Bold Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla. I don't know why this card was even chosen, along with Desperate Odds Kefla. They just don't see play. Even my teammate in his Universe 6 themed Kefla deck never plays that card. It's literally just in there for for the leader's effects and energy. So I think that's a complete waste for sure. Ready to Fight Son Goku, I think, is a good one, just because he's your one-drop searcher for Universe 7 cards, and I think they kind of want to keep pressing the Universe 7 support since they came out with that Vegeta, and I'm sure we're going to get more Universe 7 leaders, as well as other cards to support that archetype as well. And then you got the Key Bomb support, Coquette. She goes along with the Pride Troopers, the Jiren deck, so she's actually the super combo for that archetype. So if Jiren decks become more popular, if Jiren gets more support throughout the game, then I could see that being, you know, a little bit better, maybe a little more desirable. See what we did there. But overall, I think the best cards that are part of this event pack are obviously the Goten is going to be number 1. I think the Bardock's number 2, and then 3 and 4 go to probably Preface of Recovery Son Goku and Ready to Fight Son Goku. So they're going to be those cards that you are really happy to pull. They're going to be those cards that you're not disappointed you pulled, because you're like, well, at least I'll use this, or this isn't a bad card. And then there will be the Caulifla and the Kefla. But that's going to wrap it up for the Black Card Showcase reveal for Set 5. A lot of interesting cards in it, a lot more support for other decks in general than I was expecting. I thought it would be a lot like Set 4, where it was more trying to support like its own archetype. But it was interesting and not a disappointing reveal, to say the least. Some of the cards I have mixed feelings about, but the best part is I get to discuss all this stuff with you guys in the comments below. I know you guys have opinions on it as well. Let me know which of these cards you think will be the best cards for us to have, and which ones you think are definitely a little too overpowered and not needed. I personally still think that the Kami is great, because if you're dropping 4 or 5 battle cards, that's on you. That's very easy to get around. The Dende, on the other hand, I think the Dende is stupid. I think the Dende it's not a good card. The Dende was it was like Cronoa. It was a completely wrong way to deal with a problematic card. And unlike Cronoa, who only hurt that card, the Shugesh and the Pan, which you're never going to play the Pan to use the swap ability to play another card anyway, this Dende completely shuts down any strategy that's going to involve energy ramp at all, and it's going to hit both the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and the Ultimate Box Vegeta leaders equally as hard. And the worst part about it is it's not a once per game effect. It's not, it's not even once per turn. So you could just completely destroy your opponent's energy via the Dende, the Black Mass Saiyan, the World Martial Arts Tournament Piccolo. It's all just stupid the way they did that. I can't even get them to give me decent Goku Black support so that I can play the 8-drop Goku Black that lets me hit my opponent's energy. But they're going to do it this way that makes it 10 times easier with infinitely better leaders as well. But we're going to wrap this video up here. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button down below for us. Let us know which cards you're most excited for. And we will see you guys next Friday for the next reveal.